Definitely not. Okay, so we'll just get it kicked off with some quick warm-ups. Yeah, just take it easy. So we're gonna do some stepping drills first, the usual. How's the camera? Here, maybe this is better. Okay, so just the usual kind of stepping drills. So just kind of bouncing lightly and 1, 2, 1, 2, bouncing 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. Okay, just really light. Take it easy, relaxed. Just like 20 each side. So 1, 2, 1, 2 is 1, 2, 3, and then all the way to 20. And then just take a break, go on the other side. Okay, let's take it easy. Just quick or relaxing warm up. Okay, let's go. All right. Man, doing this on a hardwood floor, my feet are gonna get so tough. Okay, so next we're just gonna do some light dynamic stretching before the next drill. So just a couple steps. Swing it up. And other leg. I don't think we're gonna do too much leg exercises today, other than just stepping. So we'll just make it quick, just like maybe 6 stretches each side. All right, and then after you're done, just sideways. So just take a step behind and swing it up. All right. Same thing, just 6 times each side. Similar stepping drill, but now we're going to add a little bit more dynamic leg movements, right? So just here, 1, 2, and just lift that leg up and take a step. So 1, 2, 1, 2, drive the knee up, okay? So you don't need to extend your leg. It's not a full kick. Just working on the knee driving motion, okay? So make sure you drive your knee up and get your hip into it. So 1, 2, and knee drive up, not like this, but more like here, right? You want more like extension along your hip, like almost, okay? So 1, 2, we'll do 1, 2, 3, and a big knee up. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay. So 20 times total. Let's go. All right. So now similar thing, but with your lead leg. So 1, 2, 3. Okay. So this was less of like an aggressive motion, more of kind of like a hop with your knee driving up. But yeah, same thing. Take a breath if you're me and you have no cardio now because you just stay at home all the time. Okay, let's go. 20 times, just like last time. I meant 20 times total, so just 10 times each side. All right, so that's going to conclude our warm up. Now we're just going to work on some stretch stuff, and then we'll have extra, or some strength stuff, and then we'll have extra time for stretching. Okay. All right, so first exercise we're going to do just the usual crunches, but like I usually say, make sure you're doing a slow and controlled motion, right? So lying down, legs up 90 degrees, hands here, here, anywhere except pulling here. So just anywhere where you're not really doing much, right? And then instead of not super fast here. One, up, shoulders off, and roll. Try to roll your back off, and down, up, and down. Okay, so you know what? I'm feeling strong today. Let's do anywhere from like 10 to 20, 3 sets, okay? And between each set, make sure you're taking a break, like a minute break, completely fine. That's good, okay? You got to give those muscles a break before you work them again if you really want to get that maximum efficiency. Okay, let's go. So 3 times, 10 to 20, your choice, okay? Slow, controlled motions, shoulders off the ground, back down. Let's go. All right, so if you're finishing up soon and you think you can do it, crank out an extra set, okay? I still have one more. So there's no harm in just doing an extra set, especially if you think that you can do it and that you're not too tired already at all. Okay, let's go. Don't worry, water break after this one. All right, so I'm all done. As soon as you finish, you can go get a drink of water, come back, and we will reconvene in a minute or two. All right, so next up on the menu, leg raises. So yeah, we'll do same deal, anywhere from 10 to 20. I'm not sure if even I'm brave enough to do 20, but if you are, good for you. Good job. So yeah, 3 sets, anywhere from like 10 to 20. And yeah, feel free to push yourself. Just leg ups. I'm sure you all know how to do leg ups, right? But when you do it here, try to make sure, don't put your hands underneath your butt. That engages your core less. So hands here on your chest, behind your head, anything. And legs almost touching the ground, up, and almost touching the ground, up. Okay? So anywhere from 10 to 20, 3 sets. Let's go. All right, so I'm all done. Anybody still going? I don't see any legs flying, so I'll assume no. Okay. Nice. All right, so we'll take a short break after that because certainly my core was feeling it. So I don't think we want to launch right into something, or otherwise I'm going to have cramp. That's going to be embarrassing. So, quick water break. Oh, Addie's there too. Okay, good. So let's move on to the next one. You thought you got a long break? No. Uh, so just in a plank position. So just like this here, and slowly knee up, almost as close to your shoulder as you can get. Hold it for a count of 4. So 1, Mississippi, 2, Mississippi, 3, Mississippi, 4. Back and other leg. Okay. So you guys get the gist? Yeah, pretty simple. Let's go anywhere from like 6 total, so that's 3 each side, to like 10. Okay? And as usual, 3 sets, take a solid break between. I have big bags under my eyes. Holy shit. Okay, let's go. All right, so I just finished up. How's everybody else doing? Yes, good. Done? Yeah. Okay, so we got one last exercise before we could do some sweet stretching. Yeah, so it's always good to work out opposite muscles too. So we're going to do some lower back kind of posterior chain exercises. So just usual, I'm sure you guys have actually seen this before. Just here, Supermans, but don't just static hold it. So up, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure you're squeezing your glutes, pulling your chest as far off the floor as you can. Almost try to get your hips off the floor here. So count to 4 and then down. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, and down. Okay? So make sure it's a slow, controlled motion as well. And we'll just do that anywhere from like maybe 8 to 15 times, I think is a good number. Okay, I'll probably just do 12 for reference. Let's go. So 3 sets.
Core, right?
Huh?
You said this is for core, right?
This is for lower back.
Lower back. Okay.
Yeah. So it's good to work the muscles opposite, right? We don't want to have gigantic biceps and tiny triceps, right? So if you're working your core, or working your abs, you want to work your back too, so that you're not like always like walking around like this because your core's so tight. Okay, let's go. Actually, I don't know what I'm doing. We're still gonna use this. So we're just gonna do some chill stretching for about 10 minutes. Timing worked out pretty well. So for once, we're just gonna start off. Ooh, I feel my back now with some toe touches. So make sure for this one, don't curl your back. Think more about stomach coming to your legs, right? So if you can't go very far like me because you are getting old before the age of 20, then yeah, don't feel bad. I'm bad at stretching too. Okay, so we'll just hold it and I will count in my head. Have some relaxing time. Think about life. So really think about hinging from those hips. You don't want to curl your back too much. Or if you're Emily, you can just touch your stomach to your legs, literally. All right, okay, so we're gonna do a slightly different stretch and then we'll go back to the toe touches. I'm gonna take a quick drink of water actually. By the way, during the stretching, if you want water at any time, just go for it. So, next one, butterfly. So feet together, relatively close to you. Try to go forward. Remember, still try to keep that lower back straight. This one is a little harder to do that on. And then once you're kind of a little bit chest, stomach down a bit, then you can push down on your knees and try to go into it. One thing I actually find is kind of nice sometimes is I'll start from like lying down, then push my legs as far as I can and kind of extend them outwards, and then slowly roll up, trying to keep that position. I felt a little crack there, and I feel like it like rotates my joints in a certain way so I get a deeper stretch. Okay, so when everybody's there, I'm gonna start counting in 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. And now back to the toe touch. Try to go a little deeper this time. All right. And We're gonna go back to the butterfly, try to go a little deeper this time. So this is something I usually like to do, you know, if you just like 30 seconds of stretching, go do a different stretch, 30 seconds of stretching, go back to it. So that way you're not kind of doing the same stretch over and over again, but you get to kind of go a little deeper each time. And it's nice to have a little break in between the same stretch. Okay, so same thing with the butterfly. I encourage everybody to try, unless you already are like going all the way, to start like lying down with your knees out and then try to roll yourself up without your knees closing very much. I don't know, it always gets a deeper stretch for me. Okay. Everybody ready? Yes? Okay, let's go. All right. Okay, so next up, we're gonna do some side splits. I don't know why, but like now that I'm not as active as I used to be because of COVID and everything, I've gotten so much tighter here, like exponentially. It's awful. I'm at 90 degrees sometimes and I'm like, ah, the pain. So here,
Same, actually.
going out of it, yeah, I don't know, man.
It's not
Is
good.
this what it's like to not be like 12 years old anymore? That's crazy. And then sitting down, I hate it. I hate adulthood. Okay, so make sure that keeping that lower back straight, spine extended. Oh man, it's so tough to keep that lower back straight. I just want to curl up. Okay, so and leaning forward a little bit, making sure keeping that back straight. I feel it so much. I'm barely even going anywhere. Okay, go. All right, and bring your legs together. Shake it out a bit. So just bouncing your knees up and down, moving your feet back and forth. All right. And just for me and Ella, we're going to do it again. Oh, the pain. Okay. Oh, I'm not crying. I'm not crying. You are. Okay. All right. And leaning forward with that back straight. Let's go. All right, and bring the legs together. Woo. Woo, that's a tough one. Okay. And we're just going to do 2 last stretches, just relatively quickly. The usual front splits. So 1 knee down. Let's see how much worse at these have gotten. And other leg out. And just extend straight. And then hands on either side. And try to bring your stomach down. Woo, I've gotten worse at these too. Crazy. Okay. And switching sides. All right. Okay, and that's all I got for today. So good job, everybody. Hopefully you're feeling a little bit relaxed after that stretching. I certainly am. Maybe I'll just go back to sleep and not get any work done for my midterm. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so I'll see you guys. Good luck with midterms and everything. And yeah, okay. Thanks for coming.
Okay. So we're gonna do some wall drills. Can you guys hear me if I'm all the way over here? Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna start off with some wall drills. Really simple. You're gonna have your back against the wall. You can have both your hands on it, but don't put your heel against the wall. Just have your back against the wall. You can lean on it if you want. And you're gonna bring your knee up. And on my count, we're going to extend outward. Okay? So go as high as you can with your legs straight. So if you can't extend your leg completely like up here and your leg only like scrunches up really weird, then try not to go that high. If you can only go like this high, then that's like good enough. Go as high as you can while keeping your leg straight. Okay? So the point of this is on each count is bring your leg out like a strike, kind of like fast, and bring it in. So 1, 2. Okay. And remember when you're kicking, just point your toes just to make it a habit. Okay. We'll do 10 one leg and then 10 the other leg. And on the 10th one, we're gonna hold it for 10 seconds. Okay. Okay. Ready on my count. And 1. And bring it back in. And 2. So you can bring it out fast and back in fast. You don't have to hold it there too long. And 5. And 6. And 7. And 8. And 9. And 10. And this time hold it for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Let's try the other line. So massage your hips a little bit, because I think it's gonna hurt a bit. And bring it up. And ready. 1. Remember, you want your legs straight. Try not to keep it bent. Go lower if you can't straighten. And 2. And 3. And 4. And 5. And 7. And 8. And 9. And 10. You're gonna hold it for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And rotating your hips. And the other way. Okay. So now we're gonna do that one like one more time, but like slightly adjusted. So now instead of pointing your toes down like this, we're going to try curl our toes back. Okay? So kind of like if you were to step on the floor, kind of like you're wearing a high heel. And if you're a guy and you've never worn high heels before, or like if you've just never worn high heels before, it's just like you're on your tippy toes, but on the rounder part. So keep something flat on the ground, but not your heel. You're lifting your heel as high as you can. And so when you kick, your toes should stay in this position. It's gonna, if your toes start cramping, just relax it. It's okay. But it's gonna be a little tough at first. This one we're gonna try it a little differently. Okay. So here, in that position, now you guys can do this one a little lower because we're gonna be holding our leg out. You're gonna hold it out, and on my count, you're gonna bring it back in and then out. Okay? And we have to hold this. This is your neutral position. Okay? Sounds good? This one we're only gonna do 8 times, so we don't have to hold 10 seconds on it. Ready? And 10. And ready? 1. And 2. And 3. And 4. And 5. And 6. And 7. 8. 9. Sorry, so we're only gonna do 9. Okay, never mind. Sorry, I totally forgot. And rotate your hips. Another way. And your other leg now. Ready? Yep. And extend. Ready? 8 times. Ready? 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. And rotate your hips. Okay. Now, same thing with a side kick position. So, one hand on the wall. You're gonna bring your knee across and have it extend. Sorry, we're gonna do the first one first. We're gonna start from the end. On my count, you're gonna extend, bring it in. Okay? And on the last one, we're gonna hold it for 10 seconds. So let's start with one leg up. So facing sideways. You're going to aim with your heel and push outward. Good. And then bring it back. So the difference between side kick and turning kick is, remember, turning kick comes from behind you, and you're kicking around. Side kick coming from in front of you, and you're pushing out. Okay? Ready? 10 times. And 1. And 2. And 3. And 4. And 5. And 6. And 7. And 8. And 9. And 10. And ready, hold for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If it's really painful for you and you feel like your leg is just slowly coming down because it's just like tensed up, what you can do is make it a little bit easier, but still kind of exercising this part is when you're holding in here, kind of bounce it up and down. This is like moving a little bit. It'll make it a little easier, but you're still like holding it. Okay? Try with the other leg now. So, yep, has to be tucked in front of you, not behind you. And push out 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And bring your leg in. And rotating your hips. Hi, Edward. Okay, and other way. Okay, now we're gonna do the same thing, but extended, and we're gonna bring it in, out. Okay? We're gonna do this one only 8 times, and then we'll get into the blocking thing. You guys ready? And bring it up, and extend. If it's harder, you can bring your leg lower because we're holding it up. Ready? And 1, and 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, you want to bring your knee to your chest area. And 6, and 7, 8, and down. Just 8 times. And rotating hips with it. And to the side. Last one. Ready? And slowly extending. And 1, 2. So you want to extend it a little. You want your legs extended completely, and you're gonna bring in, then out. Ready? And 2, and 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Last one, 8. Good, and relax. rotating hips one way, the other way. Close your eyes if you have to. And if you guys need to, you guys could take a sip of water before we continue on. Is everybody okay? Yeah, okay, good. And I just check the time. Okay. So we'll start with the blocks and then we'll do standing, okay? So for this one, you can do it more relaxed. You can either be standing, you can sit in horse riding stairs if that makes you more comfortable, or if you want, what I like to do because I'm a little lazy sometimes is I like to do it from on my knees. So it's up to you guys what makes you most comfortable. But what's most important is the fact that you need your hips to move. So I would recommend not to sit on your butt exactly, but like at least give your hips like the freedom of motion, in lack of better terms. So I'm just going to be standing here. Just find whatever is like the most comfortable position for you guys. Actually, you know what? I'll sit in front of the camera because it's closer so you guys can see. Okay, like this. Okay. So first things first is we're going to learn the motion of the punch. So everybody knows that punch comes from the hip, right? But most of the time, we don't know where the second hand comes from. We just go either 1, 2, 3. It doesn't really show you what the in-between motions are. So here, I'm going to start from my hip, and my second hand is going to come up in front of me. So kind of like I'm pulling something. So here, hand out. Your palm should face away from you. And from here, this hand's going to pull in your chamber position, and your head at your hip is going to strike 1. Okay. So, good. It's gonna, in slow motion, it should look 1, slowly, and from here, they're going to turn, strike. So in blocks and strikes, this is one of the most important things, is the twist. So our wrist should always be constantly turning in kind of like opposite motion. So if one's this way, it's gonna turn the other way, and vice versa, okay? So this is a really important motion. So just maybe by yourself, just stand here and just try out maybe like 10 times just switching. Try and switch it really fast. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 times. But try not to flip it back and forth. Try and just turn only your hands. So my elbows shouldn't be moving. If you want, you could even keep them in. So here, you kind of get more of the motion. But it's mostly my forearms that's doing most of the work. Okay? So when I come here, and I'm twisting and pulling. So slowly, here, switch, extend. And then slowly the other way, switch, extend. Switch, extend. Switch. Good. And switch. Extend. Switch. Extend. Now, when we're switching and extending, this is only one part of the motion. The rotation is only one part. So now, what's really important is that you know that there's relaxation portion and then a tension portion. So here, I'm going to relax, like none of my muscles are tense. I'm a noodle basically, and I'm going to relax. And as they're passing each other, I tense to strength. So relaxation, tension, relaxation, tension, relaxation, tension. Good. Try and keep your shoulders square. Don't hyperextend too much. Just keep your shoulders and body facing forward. So that was how the punch works. And similarly, we're gonna do it, let's say low block. So for low block, hand on the shoulder here. As I'm pulling down, this hand will rotate this way. And this hand will rotate into my hip. So slowly, 1, 2. As they're crossing, they're rotating. Relaxation, tension. Relaxation, tension. So slowly and fast. Slow, fast. And we could try with our other hand, same thing. Relaxation, tension, relaxation. And then from here, slow, fast. Slow, fast. Slow, and fast. So if I want to shift in between blocks and punches, for example, in pattern number 1, I will go slow, fast, slow, fast. So 1, 2. So kind of like a whip, in lack of better term. A whip has a lot of strength, but it's really loose. Because as it's extending, the snap of it is the fast track at the end. So here it's relax, relax. But you want to kind of like tense as you're extending. Okay? So let's just try those two movements. Okay, we're gonna go relax, low block, relax, punch. It's gonna get really confusing because you need to use both hands. But so hand on the shoulder, low block, hand from the hip stays here for the punch, but this hand's gonna come up to prepare, punch. Okay, let's try one more time. And 1, 2. Good. Ready? One more time. 1, 2. And if you want to add more snap or power to it, this is where the hips come in. So you're gonna rotate, kind of like you're winding up, in lack of better terms, but like you're winding up, striking, winding up, striking. So alternate your hands. So left, right. So left hand block, right hand punch. Good. And just keep trying the same hand, like over and over again until you kind of get it. So 1, 2. 1. Good. And 1, 1, 2. 1. Good. Okay, good. Okay. How about we try the other hand? Because alternating hands kind of get confused. So 1, 2. Good. And 1, 2. 1, 2. Slow, slow, fast, fast. And same thing, you're using your hips if you want to. You're winding up, straight, winding up, straight. 1. Okay, so now we can do maybe some other blocks. Is everybody okay with that? Or does anybody have any questions with that? You're all good? Okay. So now we're going to do outside to inside middle block. So this hand is coming behind your head. Same thing. the rotation of the wrist, it faces away from us, turns towards us on the inside. This hand is going to reach and pull in. There's also a rotation. So 1, 2. 1, 2. Relax. 10. Relaxation. 10. Try with the other hand. And 1. Rotate. 1. Rotate. Now for blocks specifically, it might be a little hard to find the snap portion of this, the blocks, this, because it feels like you're literally just squeezing everything, but it doesn't, it may be to you, because sometimes I find it for myself, that it doesn't look like I'm hitting too hard, is I want to guide it with my elbow. I want my elbow to be kind of dragging it in. 1. This is with my hand. It's very stiff, but if I do it with my elbow, there's a lot more snap to it. Same thing, same thing with low block. This is me guiding with my hand. It's very stiff, but if I guide with my elbow first, there's a lot more strength to it. Okay? Yeah, so here, guiding with your elbow, and 1, 2, 3, the other hand, 1, 2, 3. So you're relaxing, loose arms, and tense it, pulling inward. Good. So if I were to relax, middle block, and 1, extend, 2. And same thing, other hand, 1, 2. Just keep trying that for a couple of times. It makes it a lot easier to find the snap if you make kind of like a wider motion. So you come from up by your head, pull it inward. 1, 2, same thing. 1, 2. Because from here, it's so small that you can't generate any power or snap. But if you make a bigger motion, sorry, wrong hand, you get a lot more. Okay? Everybody okay with this one? Okay. So now we're going to go over high block. So high block starts from the hip and comes across. So hand here, hand here, facing outward. Because we want this one to rotate this way. So hand on the shoulder will rotate to my hip. And I will high block with my right hand. Just so you guys know, this is your right hand and your eyes, right? Just to make sure. Am I holding on my right hand right now? On your side? So here. Okay, so this is my left hand. This is my right hand. My right hand will be high blocking. And my left hand will rotate to my hip. Okay. So here, my hand should be going from facing up to facing down. Okay. So here, let's try it one more time. So let's start from high block, and then we'll do it reverse. So here, I want to rotate my hand down. Good. And this hand will come back. So hand at the hip to the shoulder, hand up on top of your head to your hip. So it makes a crossing motion. Okay? And so together, it should make this motion. Good. And remember, relax, tense. Relax, tense. Relaxation, tension, relaxation. You can try with the other hand if you want. And same thing. So this one has to rotate, hand facing out. Rotating my hands. And back. rotating. And 1, 2, 1, 2, relax, tense, relax, tense, tense, good. Remember, same thing, we're still guiding with our elbow, even though we're going above our head. Push your elbow versus pushing your hand. So I push my hand, it looks very stiff, but if I push with my elbow, it has more of a snap. Okay. And now we can try high block, punch. Good. Another hand, high block, punch. Good. One more time. High block, punch. Okay, try the other hand. High block. So I know it's a lot to like between like the what am I doing with my hands kind of thing. But if you have like one takeaway, it's probably relaxing your arms and then kind of tensing them at the last second. So you're relaxing and then striking, tensing at the last second. Okay? Guide with your elbow, not with your hand. Okay? So let's see how much time we have left. I just want to squeeze some time in for stances. Okay. We have a little bit more time. So I will go over a couple more blocks that you guys will definitely have encountered already. For example, knife hand blocks. The semi-stabby blocks. Okay. So knife hand, for starters, hand open, fingers together, thumb tucked in. Okay? Thumb tucked into your ear. So here, here. Good. Yep. Honestly, you don't have to tuck it in completely and fold it in completely, but your thumbs at least cannot be sticking out. Find like the most comfortable way possible. And what's most important is also your fingers are together. I know my fingers aren't exactly together. I have a busted pinky, I'm sorry. Okay, so from here, similarly, like the middle block, we'll do a knife hand strike, okay? So knife hand strike is like what you would see in pattern number 3, Sanjang is hand open, kind of like you're doing this middle block motion, except instead, it'll be open, hand away from you. We'll rotate, strike this way, and this hand will pull back. Okay? One more time. Slowly back. And remember, guiding with your elbow. 1, and not 1. Okay? So 1, and good. Relax, tense, relax, tense. Good. And try the other hand, so relaxing, hand facing away from you. You're going to pull inwards, relax, tense, relax, tense, relax, tense. Good. And making sure from this angle, my hand should be straight. 1, and I'm hitting on my neck level. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 2. Kind of like you're serving pizza really poorly. And so, kind of like this, we're gonna do single knife hand block. So, there's a middle block that's also really similar. We can go over that one after, but I'll teach you guys this one first. It's kind of like the high block. It's just like high block, basically. Just like high block, you start it like high block, but the hand at the hip is open. Hand at the hip open, and we'll come out, rotate outward, forward. Kind of like you're about to give someone a high five. So rotate outwards. This will pull in your hip. And for height-wise, this should be leveled with your shoulder. try not to bring it too close and try not to bring it too far. Because this like is a like kind of like this is a lot more comfortable than this. So try and keep everything straight and level. Like your triangles are stable. That's all I know how to refer it to. Okay. So here, so 1, and guide with the elbow, 2, 1. So here comes up, out, up, out, in, up, in. Same thing with the other hand. So hand at the hip will be open, hand on the shoulder will be closed, up, out. We're rotating both hands. And the reason why I'm not doing it this way, beside me, even though technically in, let's say, take a sajang where I go 1, is because since I'm looking this way, technically I'll be facing this way, right? So here, if I'm facing it towards you, I'll go this way, wherever my body is. So I want it in front of me. So relaxation and tension, relaxation, tension, and relax, relax, and maybe afterwards you can follow some touch. Kind of like in Samjang, number 3 is 1, 2. Yeah. And then try other hand. 1, 2. And remember, relax, touch, relax, straight, and then relax, straight. Good. Okay? So everything's about relaxing and then tensing at the last bit. And last one we're gonna go over is double knife hand block, and then we'll go in. So double knife hand, really similar. This motion should be the same. Okay? This motion, we're gonna reach as far behind you in the most uncomfortable way possible. And it's not going to be like this block or this. I don't want it up here. I just want to just reach behind me. It doesn't matter where, it just matters it's straight behind me. And this hand is going to come out. This hand is going to come in. So it's rotating here. This hand is rotating here. So together, it rotates. 1, 2. So hand faces away from you, backhand facing away from you, making sure like, imagine like you're high-fiving the back wall, touching the back wall, and you're going to bring it here. There you go. And if you, as a point of reference, you can literally touch your own, I don't know what it's called, the solar plexus or something like that. So here, touching it should be right sitting here. If you have a belt, if you were to wear your belt, it should sit right on top of your belt. So here, it can touch. It doesn't need to float in the air. I mean, it's kind of hard to refer to the air, but it's easier to like refer to where it is on your body. So here, touch your body. And so 1, sorry, that sounded really bad. And 2, and 1, 2, 1, relax and straight, relax, straight, relax, straight, come up and straight, and don't think of it as kind of like hitting out, but kind of pushing out. 1, like kind of you take your hand out with your elbow. So 1 here and 2. Pushing this one. 1. And if it were with my other hand, That will look more, it would look really similar. So 1, 2. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So try and make it 2 separate motions. Don't think of them as like switching. Think of them as 2 different motions. So you're doing one motion, a triangle motion, 1, 2, 3. And this one is just 1, 2. So 1, 2, 1. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2. There you go. And try one more time. 1, 2. Try with the other hand. And 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 1. 1, 2. And 1, 2. Okay. It gets really like, it's kind of like flip floppy. I know it's really tough. So 1, 2. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about that? This one is going to be one of those that you need a little bit more practice. It needs a little bit more coordination because they're kind of like 2 separate movements. They're very separate, and you need to make sure you're not doing the same thing with them. Because what I used to do is I used to do 1, 2, fine, but then I went 1, 2. So it's like you either do the same thing with both arms, and then it doesn't end up looking right. But what in reality is, it's 2 different motions. Okay? So if you want, sorry, if you want, you guys can practice this one like on your own time. Just literally 1, 2, and make sure they're separate. So break it down steps 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Okay? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Any questions or confusion?
I mean, you could sort of think of the forearm as like rotating, right?
Yeah. So there's a rotation here. 1, 2. Yeah. So there's anything else? No. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. So last week we went over. Let me just double check the time. Last week we went over stances. So we went over from a neutral chumbi stance or kriya to chumbi, which is, oh no, my feet. Okay, and then you guys are gonna have to look at my feet for a little bit. So, oh, it's really bright. Okay. So let me know. Can you guys see my feet?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just wondering because the sunlight has a lot of. I'll roll up my pants so you guys can see a little better. But starting from Kayat, feet has to be together. And Chumbi is 1 foot distance. Right? And into horse riding stance, just pick a foot. I'm going to move my left foot. You guys are free to move whichever foot you guys would like. And my left foot, or whichever foot, is going to move 2.5 more feet this way. So 1, and kind of like a half. And this will be horse riding. Okay? And from here, this knee, now we're going to go into something called crane stance. So crane stance is when you'll learn when you're like a black belt for one of your black belt patterns, but crane stance is your knee stays bent. This one has to stay bent, but this knee comes up this way. Ugh. I'm so bad at balance. I haven't worked out in ages. So stay here. Try not to move tight. It's gonna come in and up. Here. So here, your knee is in. Your foot doesn't matter where it goes. It's just dangling there anyway. And this knee has to be bent. From here, if you guys have a really hard time balancing, that's okay. It'll take time. So from here, this foot will be placed down on the ground with this knee still bent. So here, right in front of it, if you guys want to see the reference, that my toes are literally right beside it, basically beside each other. This is what's called tiger stance. I'm bent, I'm sit back, and my toe is pointed. Okay? And from here, my foot will just extend forward, I'll straighten up, and this will be my walking stance. Now, going into back stance, so this is 1 foot, so walking stance is 1 foot in front, 1/5 distance between. And remember what I said last week is that we don't want to pivot on our heel. So when I step forward, pivoting on the tip of my toe, or the ball of my foot, I'm going to pivot in and take another step forward. So back stance is 2 feet forward in front of me. So 1, so turn here, 1, 2. And sitting back. So bend both knees, kind of like you're squatting. Like best way to think about it is squat down and just move a little bit toward your back leg. Okay? So here is, or if you guys want weight percentage, 70% of your weight here, 30% of your weight here. This leg is going to get a lot more tired than this leg. Okay? So here 1, and we're going to move into long stance now, where I'm going to take 1 more step forward. So 3 feet forward is a long stance, and I'm going to lift my heel, pivot backwards. It doesn't need to be straight, but it has to be at least like around 45 degrees. And I'm going to bend my knee forward. Is everybody okay? Good. And from here. Okay, that's totally all right. If anything, I'm pretty sure it's recorded, so you can watch the rest if you're really not interested. Okay? So here, from forward stance / long stance, I'm going to move back into my back stance. So take 1 step back here. So here, I'm lifting my heel back. Good. So I shifted all my weight forward, so all my weight back, and now I'm going to bring both legs up into my walking stance. From walking stance, I'm going to point my toes, bring it in, back. And from here, this is in crane stance. Sorry, this is tiger stance. And then I'm going to move into crane stance by keeping all my weight here, but lifting my knee up. And keeping this knee back. And from here, I can go back into horse riding. And here, I can go back into chumi. Okay? So that's like a lot of stances. We'll try with the other side. Okay? So here, one thing though with chumi stance is we never want to go into chumi stance with the right foot. It's always with the left. Okay? So just start from chumi, but never move your right foot into chumi. Because apparently that's illegal and I don't know why. So here, I'm going to take one and a half step more to the side, horse riding stance. Here, leg up, crane stance, keeping my knee bent, and placing my foot nicely down in front of me, but keeping my knee bent is tiger stance. Straightening out my foot and straightening out my legs, walking stance. Into back stance, I'll take 1 more step forward, pivot my heel inwards, and sit down. Sit down and back. from here, forward stance / long stance, take one more step forward, pivot, and shifting my weight forward. Good. And now we're going to work backwards. So from here, shifting my weight back. So I take a step back, pivoting my knee in, on my way back, and into walking stance, up, and from here, into tiger stance. So I'm going to point my toe, sit back. Here, my knee stays bent, and my foot comes up, and horse stance. Good. And then we can relax. So this is another drill that's really easy to do from home. If you're just going one side, going through all the stances, and it's really easy just to go through. It's like the same thing on each side. Probably try that a couple times. So just take your time. Make sure like each stance is like wide enough or like long enough, and take your time to make sure that you're kind of making your stance proper. I don't know how else to call it. Okay, we'll do it maybe like twice each side, and then after we can, if we have time, we can shift that other thing. Okay, so just starting from here, one, and on your own, shifting into every stance. Walking stance, back stance, long stance, back stance, walking stance, tiger stance, crane stance, horse riding stance, and back to tree. And do the same thing with the other leg. Horse stance, crane stance, tiger stance, walking stance, back stance, long stance, back stance, walking stance, tiger stance, crane stance, and horse riding. And then here we're going to reset because we can't bring our feet in here. So same thing on the other side. And here, horse riding stance, crane stance, tiger stance, walking stance, back stance, long stance, back stance, walking stance, tiger stance, crane stance, horse. And to leave position, another side, horse stance, crane stance, tiger stance, walking stance, back stance, long stance, back stance, walking stance, tiger stance, crane stance, horse, and relax. So, I think this drill is really important because it just shows like mostly different shifting and stances, which is this part in particular that's really important. Because in patterns like number 3, samjang, you have this part here where it's 1, and you're shifting into a long stance. 2, 3. Yeah. So here in particular, we could incorporate the blocks that we went over too. So 1, 2, 3. And stepping out into a long stance and pivoting on my the ball of my foot. Straight. And lifting my heel, turning, block. And lifting, touch. Good. And continuing, travel my head. Starting my back step here. Signal my block. And shift, touch. Right side. 1, 2. And 1, 2. So it makes it a lot easier to shift if I'm not both feet flat on the ground. Whenever I shift, I pick up whichever foot I want to move. 1, 2. Or 1, 2. 1. Okay? Let's just end with like just a light stretch. It doesn't have to be too intense. So start with rotating your hips one way. Rotating hips other way. And rotating your arms one way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Other way. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And sitting down. Let me go on the camera. Legs as far as you can. Mine can't go very far. And I'm just going to reach across, touch, other side. And just reaching, touch, touch, 20 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And holding it up one side for 10 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And slowly bringing your legs in. And just looking the sides of your legs. And reaching down towards your toes. And if you can't grab your toes, then grab your ankles too. That's okay. We're at 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay. And whenever you're ready, you guys can slowly stand up. Oh. And good job. Woo. Do you guys have any questions about like whatever we went through, or is that okay?